says more than 550 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli soldiers or settlers. With Alon, I won't be stopping in Palestinian places. I've devised a system of handovers at agreed safe rendezvous points to swap between him and Palestinian guides. But only Alon can take me to Israeli settlements. So this is the Tesla goat farm at Argaman, quite high up overlooking the valley. Already 220 feet above sea level, only a mile and a half from the river, 42 miles to the sea. Oh, a very rich farmyard smell. These sheep and long-eared goats, kind of pendulous ears. Hello, there's a woman here with curly black hair, a pink t-shirt. Hi, nice to meet you. Hi, I'm Tim. Frida is cutting up little bits of cheese.
You are not eating, only talking.
She makes it from the goat's milk. You know, quite sharp.
Yes.
And sells it in quieter times to tourists. But not surprisingly, there aren't many tourists on the West Bank right now. So passing journalists are also fair game.
Do you know what you want?
I really like that Tom. I definitely like
one. The wine or the...
No, I like that saltier Tom. The cheese is good, but not as good as the view over the Jordan Valley. It's a beautiful place.
I built it to be beautiful. It wasn't like this before.
What was here before?
Nothing. I came here 50 years ago like a soldier. After we finished, we stay here. It was another kind of time.
When Israelis were just starting to settle the West Bank, often, as here at Argaman, it was on land that neighbouring Palestinian villages claimed was theirs. Most countries say the settlements are against international law. As to how many settlers there are now, well, as ever, it depends on definitions. Maybe 750,000, if you include East Jerusalem in the West Bank, as Palestinians do. Perhaps 500,000 if, like Israel, you don't. Jerusalem's a whole other argument. Anyway, the settlers live among, again very roughly, 3 million West Bank Palestinians. Confused? Let's instead count sheep. There are certainly more and more Israeli sheep, and they're not all just there for making cheese. I'm now driving north along the Jordan Valley in a Palestinian-registered car with a Palestinian driver, Rashid. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, my friend.
Oh, wow, so we're arriving now. This is Al Farisiya.
This is Al Farisiya, where we're going to stay.
Back down to 500 feet below sea level. Still only 2.5 miles from the river. This is a bit of a zigzag. 38 miles to the sea. So this is just off the road, and basically this is just shelters underneath billowing plastic sheets. It looks seriously impermanent. How many families is this?
Around 12 families.
The rather scraggy sheep in these pens are Palestinian, not Israeli, and their ability to graze is being challenged in a conflict with local settlers that's intensified since October the 7th. So this kind of like collection of shelters is surrounded by a ring of Israeli flags fluttering in the breeze.
Yeah.
So strange. And who's put the flags there?
The settlers who try to scare the family. This is the old man we're going to meet.
Hi. Assalamu alaikum.
Abu Khairi, you can call him Abu Khairi.
Hi, nice to meet you. This is an elderly man in a black jacket. Check here.
The first thing, like one night, the settlers came with the goats and his sheep, and even later they was coming with the Israeli military, and the soldiers, they asked him to leave. They are not allowed to be there. They come one time to try to grow the wheat.
Plow the land.
Yeah, and Abu Khairi, he just slept, in front of the tractor.
You lay down in front of the tractor? Weren't you scared?
لا أنا حبيت إنه يدهتني.
You don't be scared.
الموت ولا موت ثاني.
I will die just one time.
There's more rather different looking people arrive now in jeans and boots. Israelis. Hello.
My name is Meira Michel, and I'm a Jordan Valley activist. It's an ad hoc a group of about 200 people. Our main goal is to help the local communities stay on their lands. Maybe our presence is intimidating the settlers that are contemplating coming here to harass. They became herders in order to take over land.
So you're going to stay here all night?
Yeah.
And Rashid and I are bedding down too, slightly nervously, to see what happens. It's really dark apart from this chain of lampposts on top of the hill, which is the settlement across the valley.
Right. A few months ago, this boy, 2 o'clock in the morning, he arrives with a tractor, and they say, okay, we are going to plant garlic here.
But this is like surreal.
Not here.
Somebody came down the hill in the middle of the night to plant garlic.
Yeah. It's not surreal over here. This is the reality here. So the activists that were here on guard that night were attacked by them physically.
Well, it's about 11 o'clock at night. The activists have now rolled out their sleeping bags. You can't hear much now apart from occasional coughing of the sheep in their enclosure. Okay, good night. First cock crows, and it's only 10 to 2 in the morning. And all night long, there's only roosters to disturb us. Afterwards, one of the leaders of Rotem, the settlement across the valley, told me they don't encourage violence or send anyone to commit it. The activists who say they were assaulted here complained to the Israeli police, but no arrests were made. The settlers, I mean, they really hate you, don't they? Even though you're Jewish, they call you anti-Semitic, they call you crazy left-wingers. They will say that legally, a community like this does not have the right to be here. You know, the West Bank's divided into areas, all very complicated, because of the provisions 30 years ago in the Oslo agreements between Israel and, well, then the PLO, the Palestinian leadership at the time, that said that Israel would control who builds and who doesn't build in this area.
No right to control this area at all.
But the PLO accepted that.
Well, the PLO accepted that under certain conditions which were not fulfilled.
Under the Oslo agreements of the mid-1990s, more than 60% of the West Bank, Area C, mainly rural land, stayed under full Israeli control. The agreements raised hopes for a Palestinian state on the West Bank and in Gaza, but gradually that prospect grew dimmer and dimmer.
I believe in one country for everyone, but one democratic state, 2 states, whatever. We are very, very late. I think it's a little bit naive to believe that anything like this can happen during the next 100 years. How you look at me.
Now we exited from the Jordan Valley.
And moving on with Palestinian Rashid Safate.
The name of the checkpoint is Ma'alif Right.
So we just went through a checkpoint just now.
Yeah, the soldiers, they stop us, and we don't mention Doma village where we are going because there's a lot of activity in Doma. But I'm worried now, you know, and I hope in my way back there will be no soldiers.
Well, this is rather pretty. We're approaching Doma now through olive trees. 2,000 feet above sea level, that's some ascent. 9.5 miles from the river, 34 miles to the sea. This is the village council in Duma, and there's quite a commotion here today.
Yes, we expect that the Israeli army will come today to destroy a lot of houses and tents outside the village.
Today? I'm here with Anwar Dawabshe.
Yeah, and I work in Directorate of Education. The demolition will be in C zone. Do you know about C zone and B zone and A zone?
Well, I know a little bit about it.
They want to cut Palestine into a small cantons.
Into small cantons?
Yeah, small cantons, to kill our dream in establishing our state.
He says Duma feels besieged. All around in Israeli-controlled Area C, new settlements are rising. Palestinians can only build without Israeli permission in areas A and B, already built-up urban centres. So they say their towns and villages can't expand as the population goes up. In the heart of Douma, Area B, though, they've built something that expresses their hopes for the future.
Yeah, so my name is Cheaptoyman,
and you've brought me to what looks like the smartest, newest building in Douma.
Yes, I am the Education Program Director for the US non-governmental organisation called ENERA. This is kindergarten number 20, which we've built over the past 5 years.
Just to describe, this is quite an expensive Swiss-looking building. Bright yellow concrete, white stone, marble as well.
Large windows, ensuring that children are able to see the flowers and the trees outside and daydream. Daydreaming is critical for child development too.
Back at the council offices, they're still expecting the army at any moment. But on the wall, there's a map of a different kind of future.
This is Palestine.
From the river to the sea?
Yeah, exactly.
Does this mark Israeli places as well?
No, it's all the Palestinian villages which was destroyed in 1948 and 1967. Everyone must see this map to be sure that one day the people who are in this village will go back to their village in 1948.
About 6 million Palestinians are registered by the UN either as refugees who lost their homes as a result of the creation of Israel in 1948 or as their descendants. But very few Israelis believe they should be allowed to return because the scale of the influx might mean the end of Israel as a Jewish state.
It's a dream, but we believe that it will happen, inshallah.
But what about the Jewish people in the places like
They can go back to Britain, to Morocco, or any place they come from.
But they can't stay here?
No, they cannot stay here.
They cannot stay here?
No. I'm not the Palestinian government, but for me, it's not possible.
So we're heading immediately west now. Just magical landscape and beautiful villages, Palestinian villages here.
Suleiman Lehat, the kindergarten builder.
I've not been able to move very much since October last year. It's an ongoing construction program in the West Bank of new settlements, bypass roads to bypass Palestinian communities and make life easier for Israeli settlers.
Well, presumably because Israeli cars, rocks were being thrown at them.
Correct.
You're not telling me this is the famous hummus place where people got shot?
Yes.
What was that bad omen? I'm back with my Israeli guide, Alon, and we're stopping for lunch.
Yeah, this place was hit twice by Palestinian gunmen.
So it's a fast food place, mainly specialises in hummus, immediately behind a petrol station.
Yeah.
And the people going in I can see.
They're religious settlers, or as they call them, national religious.
Young men in shorts, singlets, and long sidelocks, machine guns slung over their shoulders.
That's all Palestinian.
Across the valley, he means, just a few hundred meters away.
I think that's Tur Musaya. It's a very rich Palestinian village, mostly Palestinians who live in the States or lived in the States, and they're building really castles, if you can see there.
Building everywhere. We keep using this word biblical about this landscape, and it is biblical, but arguably it's getting less biblical quite fast. We've reached Shiloh.
Welcome to Shiloh.
A whopping 2,343 feet above sea level, though still only 14 miles from the river, 30 miles to the sea. This is Medad's house. He's got 6 Israeli flags hanging from the door. Wherever you go in this country, and whatever the passions, the birds sing on. Hello. Shalom, shalom.
My name is Israel Medad. Born in America, I moved here to Shiloh, the top of the hill, in 1981. And I have been involved in many of the efforts to explain to the world the project of returning Jews to Judea and Samaria.
That's the biblical and modern Israeli name for the West Bank.
And resettling them in our ancient homeland. I think the only solution The sole solution would be a one-state solution, which is the river to the sea.
Yes, you heard right. Even though "from the river to the sea" is generally used as a pro-Palestinian slogan, many right-wing Israelis, like Israel Medad, believe in the same concept, but with a totally different meaning.
First of all, we for 76 years have been living with Arabs. About 22% of Israel's population is Arab.
He's talking now just about the population of Israel itself. So you believe in one state, but all together?
Yes, because it cannot be an independent Palestinian state given the geography which you're experiencing, coming up from the Jordan Valley to the hills, and then soon you'll be going down towards Herzliya and the coast. You'll see that the topography is very, very threatening to Israel because it allows them to shoot missiles from heights.
So this single state between the river and the sea, what will it be called?
The State of Israel.
But would it still be called that if it had a Palestinian majority? The demography is hugely disputed, but about 14 million people live between the river and the sea. Very roughly 7 million Jews and 7 million Arabs across the West Bank, Gaza and Israel. What if the balance tips?
We are outbirthing the Arabs of Judea and Samaria. They also know that in Israel itself, the more religious population is giving birth to more babies, and that sector of the population is becoming larger.
And that gives you confidence?
It gives you great confidence.
What you can hear is hay being tossed with a pitchfork into some troughs for 5 very sleek, very beautiful cows to munch. One is sticking its pink, rather dribbly snout straight in my face. They are red heifers, as described in the Bible. Are these the only ones here in Shiloh?
Yes.
Exactly like it was in Bible times.
We hope so. I guess it's not the same thing.
Of course, it's not quite the same thing. The heifers are without blemish, just like the ones that God commands the children of Israel to sacrifice in the book of Numbers, chapter 19. But Merav and her husband Avichai, both settlers here, have a rather non-biblical lifestyle. She's an illustrator. He's an actor and playwright who likes to run through Shiloh's intoxicatingly fragrant pine trees.
It makes you another man. Very peaceful. The breeze, the sun, and the history of the place. It's amazing atmosphere that I can't explain it in words.
You're talking about peacefulness. What's then changed for you since October 7th?
We don't surprised about what's happened because we know the Palestinians. We know that they want to kill us, that they want this country or this land. They want to kill me all the time. All the Jewish people.
You're talking about Hamas, or you're talking more widely?
All the Palestinians, all the Muslims, all of them. They have idea first to kill all the Jews, and the second step, all the Western
civilization.
Yeah.
They want to destroy Western civilization.
Everyone.
How do you know that, though?
I listen.
But they're acting.
How they're acting.
But, I mean, I'm making this journey, meeting Palestinians as well, and it sounds to me like you are very, very frightened, but they think that you want to kill them. They talk about settlers who want to drive them off the land, who come to them with guns.
Actually, I don't think that the Jewish people acting like this.
At all? Do you think any Jewish people act like this?
Not in Tel Aviv and not here.
We're almost to the top of the hill now.
The Egyptians said this is the place was the Mishkan.
Where the tabernacle rested.
It was here.
The tabernacle that for several centuries housed the Ark of the Covenant, containing the tablets with the 10 Commandments.
This is a very, very holy place.
I didn't have kids for 20 years.
Sorry?
20 years I did not have kids. Both of them came from screaming to God. This place in the whole world, you cannot find a place like this. You feel the wind.
Sorry, what's your name?
My name is Gili Nadav.
Nice to meet you. So there are people here, they're all praying, yes?
Each one have his own private. Like the girl that with the white shirt over here, she's asking for a husband. The other one who's asking for a girl. You can take my number and call me in 4 months, and I will surprise you that whatever they ask, they will get an answer. Always in this hour, before sun going down.
But I haven't heard many answers on this journey yet. My overwhelming sense is of groups of people living cheek by jowl, yet ignorant and terrified of one another, sharing only a love of this magical landscape. But here, on occupied land, I've only heard part of the spectrum of views that you can encounter between the river and the sea. More liberal Jewish voices than I've heard on the West Bank, for example, and Palestinian citizens of Israel I'll only hear when I descend into Israel. That's in the next programme. Gilly's about to lead prayers, remembering Israel's continuing anguish over the hostages in Gaza. But there are other prayers I hear too, before I leave Shiloh.
I've just woken up unexpectedly in the middle of the night, and I can hear the sound of a muezzin, the call to prayer, from a mosque in a neighbouring Arab village. It feels rather strange, wafting over this religious, rather nationalistic Jewish settlement. It's reminding us again of how jumbled up here everyone is, but somehow to me it feels like a warning that things can't go on as they are. Sooner or later there has to be a solution.
Crossing Continents, a slogan and a land was produced and presented by Tim Ewell. And next week he continues his journey to the coast. In a few moments, Evan Davis.